Hi, it's Shannon. Just want to do a tutorial today. I just thought it'd be fun to have you guys kind of get ready with me and just to sort of talk you through what I'm doing. I'm using relatively inexpensive products today, and so if you like what you see, kind of a dramatic eye with some purple and pink and more of a neutral lip, then keep watching. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is some color correcting, and I'm using the Mineral Wear Talc Free Mineral Correcting Concealer, and I'm going to be using the one in soft green. This is by Physicians Formula. You guys have probably seen me use this before. So I'm going to be using this green portion here. It's step number 1. Oops, this one. And color correcting, not everybody has to color correct. I don't even always have to color correct. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I should and don't. Sometimes I don't really need to and do anyway. Green color corrects redness, so I tend to get rashy because of my psoriasis and immune system problems here in my cheeks the most. But that can sometimes spread to other areas as well. So I'm just going to touch up a little bit here. And then I also have kind of a redness here that I was born with, so I'm just going to add a little there as well. And just going to blend it in. So this is a step that a lot of you can skip. A lot of you need to color correct, but you don't need to color correct, you know, with green. Maybe you need to cover dark circles or kind of yellow undertones. Everybody's a little bit different. Maybe you have some areas that are just a little bit kind of ruddy, muddy, dull, and you want to brighten them. Some of you may have some sun damage that you want to kind of even out. So everybody's a little bit different. So just you know, look into color correcting, look into what your issues are. I'm sure you can find information that's specific for you. And if you don't need it, don't do it, because it's just an extra step. Okay, so next I'm going to do my foundation, and today I'm going to use the Maybelline Dream Smooth Mousse. I have it in, what number do I have it in? Number 240 Natural Beige. And the container looks like this. And this is going to be a little bit too dark for me right now, but that's okay. I just kind of want to use it just because I don't like to have things sitting around all the time. So in the top there's a sponge. I do use the sponge, and then you unscrew it, and underneath is the foundation. And so this, I'm not a huge fan of it. A lot of people really love it, so I know probably some of you won't agree with me, and that's okay. Everybody's a little bit different. I don't feel like it's a bad product, but I just feel like for the money, I can find better. And as far as kind of cream to powder foundations go, I found other ones that I think were equally as good or better, and maybe were a little bit less expensive. But a lot of people really like this one, and that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. We all have a little bit different tastes, and our needs are a little bit different. This one I think part of why I don't like it as much is the finish that it leaves is, gosh, it's really hard to kind of explain. It does leave sort of a powder finish, but the problem is it's a powder finish that if you look up close can kind of look a little bit I don't want to say splotchy, I don't want to say gloppy, but it's almost like somebody took a powder and squirted it on your face, and it just leaves these, if you really have to look up close, but these little kind of speckles of the color, and so it's one that I really feel like I need to buff out pretty well, just to kind of blend that in. And it does blend in, so that's not a big deal, but you know, it's just kind of an added step that you don't always want to have to do. Now, like I said, this color is too dark for me right now, so especially with the glare on my computer, you may see more of an extreme line of demarcation kind of along the jawline. So just keep that in mind. I'm aware that it's a little bit dark. Make sure I have it blended in really well because it's a little dark. And now, because it has kind of a powdery, that sort of odd powderiness to it, I'm just going to use this is a MARC blush and bronzer flat top brush. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm just going to kind of run it over my face, kind of in little, well, I guess not really in circles. And this just kind of helps me to kind of break up those little tiny beads of foundation and make it a little bit smoother, more to my liking. But this is part of why I don't really like it, because this is just an extra step that, you know, we don't want to have to be bothered with, really, if you're in a hurry. Okay, then I'm going to conceal, and I am using this is from Avon, the Ideal shade, can't read it. Anyway, I think it's Ideal shade concealing stick, and it's in medium deep. I just got to watch the top of my head, didn't ya? Okay. Oops. And so I'm going to cover up. I have a little capillary that has grown to the surface. So I'm going to cover that up. That's something I could have color corrected and I just forgot. I'm going to put some on my lids. This acts as a primer. You can use concealers as a primer. So it acts as a primer. It also helps to even out my skin tone. Putting it under the eyes just to help with my dark circles a little bit. And I'm going to go over my little spots of sun damage that I have. Now I am going to use an eye primer today. This is the Please Hold Eye Primer by MARC. It's made by MARC, and it's in medium to dark. I'm using the medium to dark because I used a darker foundation, obviously, so I'm using a little bit of a darker shaded eye primer as well. This could be considered an extra step. It's not necessarily something that you have to do. So if you are one of those people who loves eye primers, then by all means do it. If you're one of those people, kind of like me, that thinks concealer does equally as good of a job, then you can skip it if you'd like. Usually the only time I will really specifically use an eye primer is if I'm using a cream shadow, just kind of to give myself additional peace of mind, especially if it's the first time I've used the shadow and I'm not really sure, you know, how badly it creases and those types of things. Then I might use the primer just to just for the test run purposes. And then once I really have a feel for the product, then, you know, I may decide later that I don't need a primer anymore. Okay, so we're going to start on the eyes, and this is from Sephora. It's called Aspen Summit. It's number 23. It's an eyeshadow, and this was part of, you know, the birthday gift that they had last year. And it's just kind of a white, sort of frosty color. So I'm going to use this. I have my flat eyeshadow brush that you guys have seen a million times, and I'm just going to tap into it. And I'm going to use this on my lid. And I'm also going to use it under the brow bone. Just for a little highlight. I'm just using the tip of the brush for that. I just dab the tip in. I'm going to go into the inner corner of the eye just to brighten up the inner corner. And I hope you guys can see this. I know that my screen is really bright. And I'm actually going to take this with the tip of the brush and I'm going to go under the eye on the inner corner. I'm not really too worried about going all the way to the end, but you can if you want to. I'm really more concerned with getting the color kind of in this inner third, because I'm going to have other colors on the outer portion. But if you really like the look, the dimension, and layering of the color, then by all means go all the way to the end. And I'm just going to do the same on the other eye. And this is a color too that, you know, kind of towards the end, if you feel like you need to go back and get some more of it, you definitely can. So don't worry about being too specific right now. You can always go back and add a little more at the end if you want to. Alright, now next I'm going to use, this is a brush by Avon. It's kind of a sort of a crease brush, but it's a little bit flat. It's not really a round crease brush. You can see that it's the normal kind of oval shape here. It's quite thick, but it's a little bit flatter, held together. And I'm going to be using, this is the Beauty Encyclopedia by e.l.f. from, not this last Christmas was when it was introduced, but the Christmas before, I believe. And it looks like this. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to be using this kind of charcoal gray color here at the top. There you can see the color a little better. And it's got a little bit of kind of a glittery finish. Not so much glitter, but it does definitely have some shimmer to it. And this color is very pigmented, so I'm just barely getting a little bit here on the end of my brush. And this I'm just going to go into the outer corner of the eye here. And I'm not specifically going to do a V, but I'm basically going to fill in the area where that V would be. Okay, so we're just going from the outer corner and I'm just going to brush it in. And this is just going to give a little bit of dimension kind of in the outer third of the eye. A little depth. I apologize for the glare. I know it's really hard to see. And the same on the other eye. And be very careful with this color because you can get some fallout with it. Like I said, it's very pigmented. You don't need much at all. So just kind of be careful with it. Okay. And then next, because I have very neutral colors, I kind of wanted to give myself a little bit more brightness and add a little pop of color. So this is actually another e.l.f. Quad, and it's kind of by chance that this is the one I picked up, but this is called Silver Lining. And let's see if the colors will pick up for you guys. There is a very pale pink here. Can you even see that it's pink? And then kind of a grayish silver. This color here is a purple, and then this one is kind of just a skin tone. Let me see if I can adjust the settings at all and see if it helps you see the color any. Does that help? That helps a little bit. Turns my skin a little weird, but maybe we'll try this for a while. Let me know as you're watching if you like this better, because I can do this in the future. It is kind of giving me this weird pink cast to my skin tone, but there's definitely less glare, so you can at least see where I'm placing color. So just let me know if you have a preference, whether you like it before I changed it or after. Okay. So next I have this is an angled crease brush. So you can see it angles up, but it's kind of fat in the middle. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go into the purple here. And this is the color I'm going to use on the crease. And so I'm just going to start here kind of above where that grayish color is, and I'm just going to sweep it across through the crease. And this is just to kind of give a little bit of color. And you can kind of blend it in towards the gray a little bit if you'd like. And I'm also going to hold the brush straight up and down because I want this color to go up really quite high. I have a lot of lid space, and so I want it to go, you know, up as high as I can get it and just leave some of that highlight color showing under my brow bone. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of it and I'm going to go under kind of the outer third below the lashes, just to add a little color. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other eye. And don't worry, these are very intensely pigmented, but we're going to blend them out some, so don't worry if you feel like it's a little dark. And under the eye. You can use a smaller brush under the eye if you'd like. I'm just not that careful, so. Okay, and then I'm going to take this, oops. This is just actually a travel sized eyeshadow brush, and it's probably my all-time favorite brush. You know, it's soft, it's pliable, it really fits right in my crease perfectly, and I don't know, I just love it, so I use it all the time. But I'm going to use it, I'm going to take this light pink color here. Can you see that it's pink? Oh, there you can kind of see it's pink. And that's just going to go in the center of the eyelid for just a little bit more color. So I'm just going to go over where that white is, but just in the center. I still want the white here in the inner corner. And I'm going to blend it a little bit over the gray, obviously over the white, and up just a little bit to the purple, but not really above the crease, just kind of to the crease. We're just kind of brightening up the center of the eye a little bit with a little bit more color. Do the same on the other eye. And I'm going to take this underneath the eye, kind of in the center. So it's going to go a little bit over some of the white in the inner corner and a little bit over some of the purple, just to blend the two together. Okay, now if you feel like you need to, like I said, you can go back with some of the white that you had, the Sephora white, and kind of clean up some areas. I think I'm going to clean up just a little bit here because I got a little sloppy with my purple on the inner corner, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit with some more of the white. And I'm just going to add a little more brightness here. And then I'm going to grab a blending brush. And this one, the one I have is from Mark. And I'm just going to kind of brush over, and this is just going to kind of soften it a little bit and make sure everything's blended together nicely. I'm mostly concerned with kind of my crease area and just above it, just because we don't want it to be too garish. I mean, we need to be able to go out in public, right? So this is just going to soften it a little bit, blend the colors together, take the edges off a little. Okay. Now I'm going to use a little bit of the Amazing eyeliner, this liquid eyeliner in Precise Black. I believe this is from e.l.f. And I'm going to go over top of the eyeshadow, which most people think, well, yeah, that's how you normally do it, is you do the eyeliner last. For me though, because I mean I have red hair, you know, I'm light complected, black eyeliner is actually way too harsh. So normally for me, if I knew I really wanted to use a black eyeliner, I would actually put the eyeliner on first and put the eyeshadow on afterwards, because it just softens the harshness of the liquid eyeliner a little bit. But for a lot of you, if you are a brunette, if you have, you know, darker hair, it's really not gonna matter. The only reason I didn't do it that way is just so that it will be obvious enough as I put it on, so you can kind of see where I'm putting it. But I'm not really going to do anything special. I'm not, you know, you obviously can wing out the outer corner if you want to. You can make it as dramatic as you'd like. I'm really just doing a simple line along the lash line, and I'm just doing that because I just want to emphasize my lashes a little bit more, make them look a little bit darker. I really want the focus for this look to be the color and not the eyeliner. But if you want to change that and you want the focus to be the eyeliner and less about the color of the eyeshadow, then do a much more dramatic line if you prefer. Now I'm going to give my lashes a quick little curl. I recommend, you know, most of us are putting our makeup on in the bathroom, and an easy trick to get your lashes to curl even better is to run your eyelash curler under hot water just for a few seconds to warm it up, and then just shake the water off so that you don't have, you know, water running down your face. But that heat helps to curl your lashes just like a curling iron would, and that wetness dries really quickly, so your lashes actually dry kind of stuck in that curl. So just a little tip. I'm going to use a black mascara. This is the Becoming on the Fringe all-purpose mascara. You guys have seen me use this before. So you can't get this anymore, so just use whatever is your favorite black mascara. Okay, now because I'm a redhead, and since I have darkened my lashes, I also need to darken my brows. Okay, now you use whatever products you like to use for your brows. This is a product you cannot get anymore. This is performance makeup that I've had for forever, and I have beat it to death. But I'm using it's actually a black, both shadow and liner. It's kind of a wet to dry liner, and it's right here. And I'm going to use this little, was a little eyeliner brush, and I actually trimmed the bristles down probably more than halfway because I wanted them really tiny and tight and really densely packed. So I just go into this with this little brush. I'm not one to really do exaggerated brows. I don't like that look. I don't feel like it looks normal. So I just add some color and kind of darken them so that they then kind of match my lashes a little better. And so just decide, you know, for yourself, do your brows the way you like to do them. This is just how I'm doing it today. Normally I don't do it this dark, but because I darken my eyelashes, I need to now balance out my brows a little bit as well. So you'll see for me, it's not so much about shaping. I mean, I could make this very exaggerated, draw underneath here, really sculpt, but that's not really, I don't feel that that's really a very good look for people. I think it looks fake. It looks fake up close really bad. And it looks equally as fake from far away, so I just don't like it. So really what I prefer to do is just to kind of go in and just add a little bit of color, make it natural, make it a little more dense. And what I'm trying to do is to just essentially add color to the hair so that the hair darkens. I'm not actually trying to draw more hair onto my face there. I'm just trying to actually darken the hair that actually really exists. Essentially, it's the same idea as using mascara. You know, you're using the pigment of the mascara over top of your eyelashes to darken them. And that's essentially what I'm trying to do here with my brows, is just add that color. Okay, and then I'm going to just take a regular brow brush and I'm just going to brush through it just to make sure there's no kind of obvious lines. And this also kind of grooms my brows and gets them, make sure they're going in the right direction. And that's it. I just need a little bit. My brows and my lashes tend to bleach, you know, in the sun, and they get really blonde. So you've got kind of strawberry blonde hair with, looks like you have no facial hair because it gets so light. So you have to add the color back in. So when I have really intense lashes and not as dark hair, I need to find kind of a middle ground with the brows so that it's not quite so obvious. Okay, enough about that. Next we're going to move to blush, and this is Wet n Wild Pearlescent Pink. It's number 831E. This is part of their Color Icon line. So looks like that. Let's see. Here we go. And I'm going to go back and use my flat top brush. Now, blush for me, I didn't do any real sculpting or contouring today. You can if you want to. That's something you can go back and do, but I'm just adding blush. I add my blush actually kind of high on my cheeks because my cheekbones are extremely high. They are all the way up here and they're kind of small and they run like this. That's my Native American heritage. And so I have to be careful about putting big rosy red cheeks right here because first of all my face is round, so it just makes you look like a chubby little hot sweaty kid kind of thing, and that's not really what I'm looking for. So I put my blusher, I put it a little bit further back. You know, I don't do the apples of my cheeks, I do it here and kind of go back and up to the hairline. And sometimes, if I'm using a highlighter that's giving me some shine, sometimes I'll put the highlighter here to make this even brighter, because it just pulls my cheekbones up even higher and it makes them more prominent when I do that. And that's the whole point of blush, right? Everybody shouldn't be putting blush on the same way because our cheekbones are not built the same way. So think about your cheeks. Make sure you're doing what's appropriate for you. Now I'm going to use, this is the e.l.f. Healthy Glow Bronzing Powder, and it's in Sun-Kissed. And I'm having a hard time talking today. Okay, so looks like that. It has a little bit of a shimmer to it, and this is an Avon, just a powder brush, I think. Kind of looks like a small kabuki brush sort of on top. And I'm just actually going to add a little bit. I'm going to use this the same way I would as a highlighter, but it really is just giving me a little bit of a shine, but a little bit of a bronziness too. So I'm going up to the top, and I'm going to take this down just a little bit. This just gives me a little glow. And because I used the darker foundation, that's why I'm going for the brown rather than, normally I use like a pinky, peachy sort of highlight color for shine. I'm not usually trying to bronze. I'm not one that usually is worried about bronzing, other than if I'm going to contour my cheeks. But because I went dark with my foundation, darker than I really should, I need to kind of pretend like it's natural color. So I'm just adding color where I would normally get some sun, and this has a little bit of a shine to it as well, so just gives a nice finish. Okay. And I'm going to use this brush. I'm going to go underneath just a little bit just to blend so I don't have an obvious, you know, sort of line of demarcation with my blush either, since I didn't contour today. So really I'm just using this the same way that I use this brush on the eyes. I'm just using it to kind of blend the color and soften it a little bit. I'm not actually trying to add color here in the crease. Okay, now I'm going to line my lips. This is the Avon Color Trend Mini Lip Liner in Natural. This is an exact match for my lip color, my natural lip color, and that's what it means to use a nude lip liner. Nude for me is going to be different than nude for you. What you need to do is find a color that is the exact match of your skin, so it doesn't matter where you mark it, you can't see. Okay, so I'm going to line my lips with this. And I'm also going to fill in the lips, and I'm just doing this just to even out the skin tone on my lips, you know, because I have some freckling, some sun damage, and so I'm going to be using a lighter lip color today. And if I were to be using something that was sheer, you would be able to see that freckling right through it. So by doing this, I kind of even that out a little bit. And the lip color I'm using today is one of the Rimmel lipsticks, and it is in Crush number 202. This is one of their lasting finish lipsticks, and this is my very favorite lipstick color by them. It's this really pretty peach color, and it kind of has a shine to it, but I wouldn't call it shimmery or anything on the lips. It's not frosty. And then I'm going to follow that up with the L'Oreal Paris Color Juice Sheer Juicy Lip Gloss, and this is in Bubblegum number 115. I actually prefer to apply this with a lip brush. I don't know why I didn't today, I just didn't. I'm not a big fan of the applicator. only because the lip gloss, it's not sticky, but it's a little bit thick. So it's a little hard to spread just using the tube. So just an FYI if you're using those. Okay, so we did kind of a nice neutral lip and didn't really do exaggerated cheekbones too much because we have a lot of color in the eyes. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions about any of the products or anything to do with the technique, then let me know. And I hope you're having a great time in the nice weather finally for those of you who have been getting rained out.